What's up and welcome back. Today we're talking about how Rockstar has stopped updates for Red Dead Online. Now, I know that's very controversial to say, so before you give me a bunch of hate, I want to say I'm going to go through all the comments on this video and respond to the ones that are, you know, like thought out and like, hey, this is why, Barney, I think you're wrong. Any comment like that, I'm going to go through and respond to. Obviously, I expect to get a few that are just, you know, like, hey dude, you suck, you're terrible, you know, yada yada yada, whatever. But I have some points that I believe to be very good as you know, proof to point to Rockstar not actually putting out updates for Red Dead Online, or rather not working on updates for Red Dead Online. And the first of those, and the best point I have to make in this video, is that Rockstar, this last update and the ones that we're getting each week, or that we seem to be getting each week, right? All of this content has been revealed to us and told to us starting back, you know, like almost 2 months ago when we were going to get the griefer changes, right? So way back when Rockstar announced, hey, we're going to be making some bounty and law changes to help with griefers. We realized that's an issue that the community is a little bit frustrated about. That's going to be coming soon. A few weeks later, it was announced that, hey, that's actually not coming right now. That is going to be coming in a future title update, a big title update. About a month or so after that, we got news, maybe actually 3 weeks after that, we got a news update from Rockstar regarding, hey, this is what you can expect in this next update. And it talked about everything that we've received up to this point. You know, like things like we just released were just released last week, Spoils of War, plunder, different game modes, all these clothings, all these things were announced then. Then when that title update hit and we were expecting to get all of that stuff, we didn't get it all. And things that we were expecting to get were then announced to be drip fed to us. Okay? Things we were expecting to get were then announced to be drip fed to us. And there were a few things that they said, like, coming soon, we're going to be working on it, right? All these things, in my opinion, right? All this stuff is one, lackluster compared to what Rockstar is able to put out and update. We've seen what they can do when they're hitting updates in stride with GTA 5. They obviously haven't been in a position to hit updates in stride with Red Dead Online, but we've seen what they can accomplish when they're able to do that. They haven't met the bar, and thus a lot of the community is frustrated about it. Now, I've made theories about they're working on something else. They're maybe getting the game ready for the new consoles, expected to release later this year or next year. They may be getting it ready for PC. You know, there's been a bunch of theories as to why it hasn't been hit in stride yet. I think what's actually happened is that these updates aren't being worked on. Maybe there's, well, not maybe, there are probably devs over at Rockstar that are working on bugs and patch and fixes like that. But as far as new content goes, all of this stuff has been done and announced way prior to today's date. And it's now getting drip fed to us, or has been getting drip fed to us after it's already been completed. This being because Rockstar's already really quiet about what they're gonna bring to us. And when they delayed for a little bit, the community was really not happy. And the community would be even more unhappy if this update came out, didn't do as good as it's done, and we had all the content right then and felt like, okay, well, there really wasn't much to it right here. So instead, it's being drip fed to make it feel like things are still being worked on and we're still getting new things, because that's the way it feels. To break this down, even like just Red Dead YouTubers, like there's a lot of Red Dead YouTubers who aren't doing Red Dead anymore. They stopped doing Red Dead. Like this last week, last few days, they stopped doing Red Dead. There's just no content coming out. Right? Like if there was content coming out from Rockstar for Red Dead Online, then people would create content on it for YouTube. There's a lot of YouTubers that dedicated, you know, months and months and months to creating Red Dead content and just recently dropped it. And that's like, that's a clear sign that like Rockstar's not actually putting out more content. Yes, as we play, we're getting new things and it's exciting. Like earlier this week, we got Spoils of War. That was really cool. I'm glad the game got it. It's a fun game mode, at least when I jumped in. And I'm sure for people who enjoy PvP and Red Dead Online, that's one of their favorite. And it's really, it's just a fun game mode. I'm glad it's been added to the game. My point being here is that nothing that's being added is new. Nothing, like all of this stuff we've known about for almost a month now. Or yeah, really, almost a month now. Rockstar is just drip feeding all these little things because they're not hitting in stride these updates. These updates are stopped right now, and instead the focus is on, you know, whatever's going on behind the scene. The proof that the updates aren't being worked on in full stride is just the fact that, you know, like, look at the updates. That's the proof right there. Look at the updates. In my theory of the updates actually being stopped, like there being periods of time where Rockstar is actively not working on updating Red Dead Online with new content, is that this content is being drip fed. If that was the case, then just by nature, there would be more Red Dead YouTubers creating content around that. Rockstar is to an extent acknowledging this by giving all these rewards for players playing on their new updates, right? Like, so I would say more so than most developers, Rockstar does lean in the direction of giving, you know, advantages to jumping on and playing, like just in general in their past with GTA 5. But they're so soon into Red Dead Online's life, you know, allowing the game to go on sale for certain retailers, and as well, you know, get every single update comes with incentive. Every single update comes with play this, do this. Like there's this meme of Trailer Park Boys meme of just like, take my 5 gold bars and F off, you know, like, so they're every single time they update, even with the drip feed updates, they're giving incentive to jump on, get more experience, get arrows, get this, usables, money, whatever, right? They're constantly giving incentives. Rockstar, when Red Dead Online launched and they had sat down and made a plan for like, hey, this is what we want to try and get done. They did not make a plan saying, and then on this day, we're going to give out these free items. On this day, we're going to give out these free items. Because that's not something you plan for. That's incentives you're pushing because the player rate of, because the people that are interested in your game is dropping. You're trying to get more people to play your game, trying to keep them interested, right? But these updates aren't doing enough to capture the audience. And that's why these incentives are coming with every single update. So, I mean, and I don't want to say that to say that you're not enjoying Red Dead Online. I know that if you're watching this video, to some extent, you're enjoying the game, or you're really enjoying it. I'm just making these points on a broader term, like this is what we're seeing Rockstar do. I honestly think that this is because Rockstar is like so jammed up against the wall. We saw it before Red Dead 2 even released. Like there was a lot of controversy around how hard people were working at their studio to get the game ready for release. Like there was a lot of controversy. People working like 60-hour weeks, 15-hour days. They've already been up against the wall for the initial release of the game. They haven't had any time to get ahead of the ball for what they want to get out coming next, which, as we've really, like, we can only theorize because they're such a private developer, but getting the game ready for the next gen consoles, getting the game ready for PC, you know, like they've been so backed up this whole time that at this moment they're just dropping Red Dead Online updates, probably still working on patches and fixes to help the game get out of beta, but the updates are now being drip fed to make it seem like things are still coming in new, but they're just not. Like the content isn't there. Now, although I believe that they have stopped updates in that sense, I don't think that it means they're not going to update Red Dead Online. It just like it's more and more showing that they're not able to do enough for online right now. I think they can in the future. Well, I mean, I know they can in the future, but they just haven't been able to do enough, and that's why I think so. There's other things that kind of come into play as far as, you know, like Red Dead Online isn't the end all be all either. So I think that's why it's in the position it is, because if it was the priority of over everything, I don't think we'd be in this position with Rockstar. But like GTA is still booming. GTA Online's still booming. In fact, the roleplay scene just took off. As of making this video, it's the third most watched game on Twitch right now, and that's with League of Legends being in their season and having their weekend games going on. Obviously Fortnite there too. So like that's blowing up as well. GTA is still a significant revenue source for them. And the game Red Dead 2 itself sold so much. So although it's not a good thing for us playing Red Dead Online right now that it's not Rockstar's focus, I don't think that means that it's never going to be their focus. I think it is going to be their focus. And even back in February when we had the shareholder call from Take-Two, and like there was a lot of wording that made it seem like, why are you talking about next year? Like Red Dead Online is in beta right now, we're playing it, but whenever you're referencing it, you're talking about it like performing well next year, going into next year. That, like, I was so hopeful that that was just like, you know, oh, it's gonna be so good and it'll even be better next year, right? Because GTA didn't do that right away, but it kind of was that. Like, it just kept getting better and better and better. That was my hope, but now it looks like what it really meant was that Rockstar actually isn't going to be focusing on Red Dead Online immediately. And instead, there's other things that they're focusing on. And going into next year is when they're actually going to have the time and set that as a priority for them to work on and create into the, you know, what we all know it can be. That's my 2 cents on it. If, again, I'm going to go through this entire video, all the comments on this video, and respond to you guys that bring up points, because obviously when I speak through a video like this, I'm able to reach out to all of you, and you guys, a lot of you have valid points. Not all of you, some of you just leave crazy things, but a lot of you have valid points, and you know, especially with something this controversial, I want to make a point to make sure that you feel like you're being heard as well. So I'll go through all the comments and respond to them. Thank you for sticking with me and stopping by, and until next time, take care.